Tonight on KGW News, how a 2020 confrontation between a protester and a police officer could end up costing the city.
It just changed my life forever.
Plus, how a singer who fled Ukraine filled Portland's living room with music. And sounded a warning as the war hits another grim milestone.
We won't stop it today. Tomorrow, war can come to every country.
Then, what authorities say caused a vehicle to nearly crash into a Vancouver movie theater. And later,
it's palpable how concerned everyone feels.
Why another school district is calling a huge and sudden hole in its budget a surprise. Good evening, everyone. Let's take you outside on yet another chilly and rainy night in the Rose City. 46, 47 degrees in downtown Portland with a bomb cyclone off the coast, whipping up the winds with strong gusts leaving debris in some spots tonight, including a downed tree near Corbett on the historic Columbia River Highway. Thanks for joining us. David Molko here with Chief Meteorologist Matt Zafino. So Matt, have the winds calmed down as far as you can tell?
Still have strong winds coming out of the east over in the gorge. We haven't really had strong winds in the Portland area yet, but it is beginning to change just a bit. Here's the bomb cyclone. It's been moving north, and just in the last little bit, it's made a little bit of a jog to the west. This cold front, when that pushes through in the next couple of hours, we'll begin to see stronger winds here in the metro area. The coast, though, is beginning to see stronger winds. Newport at 46 degrees. It was gusting to 40 miles an hour just a minute ago. Now it's down to 32, but the wind has come around to the south in most of the coastal locations. You can see here, though, we still have a straight on east wind coming out of the gorge into the Portland area, even over to Hillsborough. But if I zoom out a bit, McMinnville is the south wind. Eugene south now at 24. North Bend south at 28. And Astoria is out of the south as well. So the strongest winds for the coast will certainly be out of the south. And in the Portland area should also be out of the south, but we've already had these strong winds out of the east, and that's why we're seeing that damage up in places like Corbett, which had a gust of actually 47 miles an hour, 49 at Crown Point. Portland Airport had a gust of 41 earlier, and gust near 50 on the Oregon coast. I did see a gust off the coast at one of the buoys of 72 miles an hour. We'll dig into that, the buoys and what's going on with the swells in just a bit. But our windiest time from now till about 2 a.m. Strongest winds, of course, will be at the coast. And boy, the snow keeps falling in the Cascades. It's been amazing. I'll show you that too, David, later.
No kidding. Thanks, Matt. We'll see you in a few. Hey, we are hearing many more reports of damage from the wind from northern Washington tonight. This is video showing a tree that fell onto a home north of Seattle in Snohomish County. No word on injuries there. Across the Puget Sound area, the strong gusts have left roughly 500,000 customers without power. We'll keep you posted. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines, a suspect has been identified from a hit-and-run crash in Sherwood that left a man and his dog injured. We first brought you this story last night at 11. The 67-year-old was hit while walking his dog near Southwest Division and Main Street last Wednesday. Police say the case is now in the hands of a grand jury. Authorities in Washington County are looking for a suspect they say sexually assaulted a woman in a park. The sheriff's office released this sketch today. They say the attack was on September 7th at Metzger Park in southwest Portland while the victim was walking her dog. Authorities believe the suspect is around 30, about 5'10" with a stocky build and straight black hair. If you recognize him, call the Washington County Sheriff's Office. And Portland police say they've arrested nearly 36 people over 2 months as part of efforts targeting human trafficking. One of those arrested for prostitution-related crimes, a retired sergeant for the Bureau, Christopher Kanegi, who pleaded not guilty to a misdemeanor charge. Public records show Kanegi was with the Bureau from 1999 until January of this year. 7 of the other people arrested had warrants or were wanted for gun-related crimes.
Hey, man. Are you good in there?
Yeah, I'm good.
What happened?
I don't know. Some random.
New tonight, Vancouver police released body cam video as officers responded to a DUI crash. This was at the downtown Vancouver cinema at 2 in the morning on Sunday. Authorities say the driver crashed into the stairs out front and broke his leg on impact. Video shows that driver later being extricated by firefighters. Police say the driver was charged with DUI and remind people to either have a sober driver or to use a rideshare service. As Ukrainians mark 1,000 days since the Russian invasion, it seems the conflict there is entering a new phase. The U.S. Embassy in Kyiv, where it's just turned 9 a.m., announced it is closed on Wednesday after receiving specific information of a, quote, potential significant air attack, with employees now instructed to shelter in place. This comes as U.S. officials say for the first time Ukraine has fired American-made long-range missiles at Russian targets. Meanwhile, the Russian president formally lowering the threshold for the use of nuclear weapons, suggesting Moscow could return fire from conventional weapons with a nuclear response. Let's bring in Catherine Cook now. Catherine, here in Portland, a small group gathered to show solidarity and support with Ukraine.
And David, for them, these developments form a troubling sign of what's to come. They've long believed this conflict not only pits Russia against Ukraine, but rather the whole world. They hope tonight's gathering will inspire everyone to raise their voices for peace.
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
О, йолозі червона калина.
Glory to Ukraine and glory to the heroes. For Ukrainians, it's a national salute and battle cry symbolizing sovereignty and resistance to foreign aggression. In downtown Portland, it kicked off an evening of traditional Ukrainian folk songs. Tuesday marked 1,000 days since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine.
This is a hard day for every Ukrainian.
For Ina Kovtun, these songs and this camaraderie make home feel just a little bit closer.
My hope war will over and I will come back home. I will hug my parents. I will hug my sister.
Kovtun fled Ukraine with her daughter and made a home in Portland as refugees. For her, promoting Ukrainian culture on this milestone day is an act of defiance against Russia.
Russia wanted to kill not only all of Ukrainian people and also our beautiful tradition, our beautiful song. It's so important.
There can be no peace until the Russian regime withdraws all of its troops from Ukrainian territory.
Devin Mullins is a volunteer with American Coalition for Ukraine. He urges Oregonians to join him in solidarity, especially as the conflict in Ukraine deepens. He suggests calling state lawmakers to urge them to support continued aid to Ukraine, things they can do amid so many unknowns.
I don't know what President Trump's plans are for Ukraine. I think there's a lot of uncertainty, but we cannot make decisions as Americans. We have no right to make decisions without Ukrainians at the table. We need to center their voices and take their lead and show support.
For now, there are singing voices. And there is hope.
I want to come back home and I want a peaceful sky above Ukraine.
In downtown Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Developing this evening, Corporate School District says it plans to cut 20% of its budget, including laying off some teachers. The district, which serves about 1,100 students, is blaming an accountant for mistakes that led to a budget crisis and says a new CFO discovered the problems earlier this year. It adds it'll likely have to lay off 10 people in January, 3 teachers, 3 administrators, and 4 classified employees.
Of course, no one's going to be happy about it. I'm not happy about it. I don't want to cut staff members. I don't want to put people out of a job.
It's palpable how concerned everyone feels about the vagueness of the information that we've been given, about the timeline that has been delivered to us.
You heard it there. Teachers question exactly what the district knew and when. Every district employee will also be required to take a 6-day furlough. We expect the conversation to continue at the next school board meeting that is set for Wednesday night at 7. Portland City Council is set to vote on a $400,000 settlement tomorrow with a man who claims a former police officer purposefully shoved him during a protest. Joe Ranieri has more on what sparked the legal battle.
A 40-year-old Dustin Ferrer still remembers the night of September 28, 2020, like it was yesterday.
It just changed my life forever.
He was with a group of protesters in North Portland who were part of the months-long protests over the death of George Floyd and to support the Black Lives Matter movement.
This night was different than every other night. Portland police had just been federally deputized, which gave them a crazy level of power.
In court documents, Ferreira says he was targeted by police, in particular by now former Portland police officer Sergeant Justin Damerville.
Officer Damerville again follows me as the group is trying to separate and get out of the way. Comes behind me, reaches down, as you can see in the video, shoves me as hard as he could.
In the video, you can see Ferreira outside this 7-Eleven as Damerville talks to him.
And he says, "Go home." And I say, "I live with you." And me saying that in that moment was me saying to him, "You have done nothing but focus on me for the last 3 months of this protest."
You can also see him getting arrested shortly afterwards. Ferreira suffered injuries to his shoulder that night and spent a night in jail.
The truth is he was targeted not despite his disability, but because of it.
His attorney, Greg Kafori, feels what they are asking for from the city is a fair amount.
Under the Tort Claims Act, the most that we could possibly recover in this case would be $800,000. So to settle for $400,000 without a trial, it's not that tough a call.
Joe Ranieri reporting. In a statement, the city attorney's office said today, quote, "They believe this mutually agreed upon settlement is in the interest of all parties," end quote. The officer, Justin Damerville, is not named in the suit. He resigned from the Portland Police Bureau in 2022.